Hi everyone, this is your co-op teacher Larry. So today's co-op lesson is on the Employment Standards Act. This is the act or the law governing workers and owners in Canada, in Ontario, not Canada. So the Employment Standards Act sets out the rights and responsibilities of the employees and employers in Ontario. Almost all Ontario workers and companies have to follow the Act, except for a few industries that are federally regulated. That means they're regulated by the federal government, not the provincial government, and therefore they don't follow under the Employment Standards Act. So unless you work for an airline or a post office or a TV or radio station, you have to follow, and your company has to follow, the Employment Standards Act. So the Employment Standards Act looks at very specific parts of the working life. So for example, looks at minimum wage, and it sets the minimum wage for workers. Maternity leave. So it is a pregnant woman allowed to take time off after she has a baby. Vacations. How much vacation time is someone entitled to if they work in Ontario? Overtime pay. Are you entitled to overtime pay if you work more than your typical 8-hour day? Sick days. Are you entitled to sick days if you're sick? Yes or no? Lunch break. How long must your lunch break be? Coffee breaks. Do you get a coffee break? Emergency leave. Are you entitled to take time off if you have a sick relative or a sick child or not? So these are some of the rules that the Employment Standards Act spells out. It's important to know these rules because if you don't know them, you can be taken advantage of. So if you don't know what the minimum wage is, what's to stop the employer from giving you less per hour? Or if you don't know that, lunch break must be this amount of time, what's to stop the employer from giving you a shorter lunch break? So you need to know the rules protecting you. And every year when I teach this lesson to my co-op students, there's always someone in the room who either was mistreated by an employer or knows someone who was mistreated by an employer. So if you know the rules, then there's less chance that you'll be taken advantage of by an employer. Okay, so let's get some specific examples and see what you know. So I'll give you the example here, and it's a true or false. So you answer just in your head whether you think this is true or false. So you are entitled to a 15-minute coffee break if you work more than 4 hours in a row. Is that true or false? The answer is false. There is no law that entitles workers to a coffee break. It's common in our culture that a person gets a lunch break and a coffee break if they work an 8-hour day. But the coffee break is not mandatory. So it's not something that an employer must do. It's something they do because they want to keep their workers happy. So coffee breaks are not mandated by law. Next one. All workers are entitled to be paid for public holidays like Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, Good Friday, etc. The answer is true. That is correct. There are in fact 9 paid public holidays a year in Ontario, and you'll be finding out what those 9 days are later on. Number 3. Your employer must pay you if you take pregnancy leave or parental leave. So pregnancy leave is for the birth mother only, and parental leave is for the father or the mother. Can also be adopted father or mother. Does the employer have to pay you for these 2 leaves? The answer is no, it's false. The employer does not pay you during pregnancy or parental leave. If you are entitled to take pregnancy or parental leave, you are not paid by the employer, but you are paid by the Employment Insurance Program in Canada. So you still get some payment, but it's not from your employer, it's from the Government of Canada. Next one. You are entitled to more vacation pay the longer you work for a company. So after 1 year, typically you get 2 weeks of vacation. After 5 years, it typically goes up to 3 weeks. Up to 10 years, it goes up to 4 weeks. The question is that the law in Ontario? Yes or no? The answer is no. It does not. Vacation pay under the Employment Standards Act does not change with years of service. In fact, everyone gets 2 weeks per year by law, whether they've been at the company for 1 year or 20 years. If a company gives you more than 2 weeks per year, it's because they want to. It's not because they have to under the law. Next question. The father of a newborn child is allowed to take pregnancy leave. And the answer is false. Pregnancy leave is only for the birth mother. That's it. The father can take parental leave, which is different. They're two separate leaves. Only the birth mother can take pregnancy leave. Next one. If you work from home for your employer, you are entitled to a higher minimum wage. The answer is true. Because you save your employer money by using your own phone, your desk, your computer, the government makes the employer pay you a higher wage. This is called home workers. And the minimum wage is higher for home workers than it is for regular workers who work at the company. Next question. If you work overtime, you are entitled to double time pay, so 2 times your regular pay. So instead of $15 an hour, you're entitled to $30 an hour. Is that true or false? The answer is false. Overtime pay is time and a half, which is 1.5 times your regular pay. So overtime pay exists, but not at 2 times your pay. It's 1.5 times. Next question. If your child's babysitter is sick, you are allowed to miss work to stay home with your child. True or false? The answer is true. You are allowed to miss 10 days of work a year for family emergencies. You do not have to be paid for these 10 days, but you are allowed to take 10 days off without pay for these emergencies. 10 days a year, and it doesn't have to be all at one time. It can be 1 day in January, 2 days in February, 4 days in June. It's 10 for the whole year. Okay, so that's just some of the things you're going to learn by doing the assignments, this is what I'm showing you here now. So on the website, the blog, there is a Microsoft Word file that I want you to download, print out, and then I want you to go to this website here in order to find the answers to the questions on the sheet of paper. And I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, so right below the video on the blog, you'll find this file for you to download. It's called ESA Questions for Internet Search, February 2016. I want you to download this file, open it up in Microsoft Word. Then I want you to just copy and paste. Copy. Open up your web browser. Paste and go. And this takes you to the Government Ontario Ministry of Labour, your guide to the Employment Standards Act 2000. And there you go. There's all the different categories of all the information you need in order to answer the questions. So we go back here. So question number 1, what is emergency leave? Go to the website and we look for the personal emergency leave. We click on here and this tells us what emergency leave is. Find the answer and then go back to your Microsoft Word file and you can either write it out or if you want you can type out the answer. So finish this 2-page assignment. Then you can either hand it in to me or you can take a picture of it and email it to me, or you can scan it and email me the answers. Okay, and that'll be your assignment for the Employment Standards Act. If you have any questions, You can email me, you can call me, or talk to your other classmates. Okay, good luck. And this will be marked by me, and this is important information to know. You need to know this information before you're allowed to start co-op. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.